Well, Salford can go joint top of the table because of the result at St Helens today, where Castleford lost for only the second time this season. St Helens backing up a magnificent performance in defeat to Wigan on Friday with a victory at home against Castleford. Wakefield, as we've seen here at the Beaumont Legal Stadium, well, they were very strong, I should say, in defeat against the Wigan Warriors, 16 points to 10 after the Warriors led 12-10 at half-time. Leeds kicked on from a healthy half-time scoreline to beat Widnes 42 points to 22. Hull FC bounced back from consecutive defeats to defeat Lee at the Lee Sports Village. There is that result from St Helens, a 4-point victory for Saints in the end. Sean Long and Jamal Lolesi with their first win as interim coaches. And Warrington, 26 points to 24 winners over Huddersfield. They couldn't shake Huddersfield for that game until the very end. All the match highlights will be available on full time at skysports.com/rugby league. Let's put all those results into the table and bring you the latest version. With Salford and Catalan Dragons to come, it is Castleford and Leeds on top, but a win for Salford would push them into joint first with the Castleford Tigers and Leeds Rhinos. Catalan Dragons holding on to 8th spot. And here is the Catalan Dragons side as named by Laurent Fresineau. After 4 consecutive defeats, they have won their last 2, the most recent of those 29-22 at Huddersfield. And there is a change to the back line. Fouad Yaha comes in. There is no Braden Williame, who's been so effective in his first season at the Dragons. Fouad Yaha comes back in, and Vincent Duport there moves into the centres. He played wing against Huddersfield. Luke Walsh and Richie Myler are the halves. And there is one change in the pack where Justin Horrell returns to take his place in the back row alongside Louis Anderson and Benjamin Garcia. Lambert Belma, who made his debut against Huddersfield, is stood down this week. And all the bench took part in the game at the John Smith Stadium. You've got some size and some skill in Bousquet, Bosque, Simon and Thibaut Margelet. Laurent Fresineau, the coach. Salford, with their 5 wins, the most recent of those, 12-6 against a gritty Lee Centurions. They make 3 changes. Gareth O'Brien's 67th minute try against Lee proved to be decisive. Todd Carney comes into the halves. No Robert Louis in the starting lineup. He will be on the bench today. Chris Wellham, also a try scorer against Lee. Adam Warren started on the interchange bench against Lee. He gets a starting position today in the front row alongside Logan Tompkins and Lama Tassi. And Olsi Krasnicki comes in. There's no Ben Murdoch-Masilla and no Lee Mossa. Ryan Lannon gets a position on the bench beside George Griffin, Craig Kopchak, Robert Louis, and their coach, Ian Watson. Ian Watson, a man who played in the last Salford side to win 5 in a row 20 years ago in 1997 when they first got promoted back into Super League. Terry O'Connor and Barry McDermott, they have a chance to break that 20-year-old record with a 6th consecutive victory and go joint top of the table with the Leeds Rhinos and Castleford Tigers. Can you believe it?
What a turnaround. When you think about where they were in that £1 million game and Gareth O'Brien coming up with that drop goal that took them away. But you have to credit Ian Watson, what he's managed to do with this side. And they're a little bit like Castleford. They play a style that you enjoy watching. They're a little bit different than most sides. It's less about the block plays and it's more about their expression. I do actually think, and I'm not showing off here, Brian, because far be it for me to...
I know, you picked St Helens to win, and you just need the Catalan Dragons to beat Salford. You got 5 from 5.
I do, but I've gone for Catalan. But I'm starting to change my mind a little bit now, because I think with the added incentive that a good win and the 2 competition points could take them to the top, it might just find them an extra 5%, which is all you need on Easter Monday.
You can't hedge your bets. Who are you going for?
He's already said it.
I've already said Catalan, but I'm saying I'm prepared to be wrong, because I think Salford might just rise
You've got good practice of being wrong, Barry McDermott. Terry O'Connor, you've had a look back on Catalan's win over Huddersfield. They get the 2 points. It was a more comfortable maybe win than the scoreline suggested, with Huddersfield scoring late. How convinced were you with that performance?
Brian, I've been convinced, in all honesty, with Salford right the way through the year, the way that they've played, the players that seem to be in, and the way that they're coming. I just think that Todd Carney starting against his former club in Catalan, think it's going to be a big test for him going down there. But
the Dragons, can they upset Salford?
Well, of course they can upset Salford. You've got good players right the way through that list. You've got Samoa, Remy Casti, Paul Layton, 3 firebrands in the middle. You've got Richie Myler, Luke Waltz. But I do like the look, the balance of what Salford have got. It's not been like years ago when it was all about let's buy the best individuals from all the clubs in Super League. Ian Watson has built a team that go out there and perform and play for each other. They've got enough strike, they've got enough power, and they've got enough speed to cause problems in the south of France.
It's hard to know what the bigger story of Super League has been so far. The Catalan Dragons, so sensational at the top of the table, but this Salford side, Barry, and some healthy support down in the south of France to see maybe a club record 6 consecutive Super League victory and a move to the top of the table, playing very attractive, as Terry says, very attractive rugby league.
They do, they test you, they throw things at you that I don't think traditionally sides in 2016, 2017, as we've had so far, sides aren't used to defending what Salford throw at you. But my dad used to say to me, never change your bets, never change your luck. So I think I'm going to stick with Catalan, but Salford have got something mouth-watering available to them if they can take the chance.
I know your dad, I wouldn't believe the clock's in his house. OK, time now to go to your commentary team. It will be John Wells, Phil Clark, and the first voice, though, is Bill Arthur. Bill, over to you.
Thanks, Brian. It's a beautiful evening in southwest France. The temperature has been up in the mid-20s all day, and summer, it looks as though, has arrived in Perpignan. And the Salford supporters there to enjoy it already and hoping to round it off with a victory over the Catalan Dragons, and expect plenty of points on this Easter Monday fixture. The past 5 results in this fixture have been 42-32, 40 points all, 37-24, 40 points to 6 and 40 points to 18. What's the chances of a 12-10 Catalan Dragons win in this one? The last time there was a low-scoring Salford win in this was 22-11 in March, 22-10 in March 2011. The players and the crowd now joining in a minute's applause for the former French international Francis Dinadé, former Limoux and French forward who died recently. And they're marking his passing with this minute's applause. Salford travelling yesterday to prepare for this game, so a pretty rapid turnaround for them. The Catalan Dragons have had 48 hours advantage in that respect, and I'm wondering whether that is going to make the difference, or a difference.
Well, I'm sure it'll have some physical difference, but Salford can't rely on that or use it as an excuse here today. You talked about the high-scoring games between these two sides, as the respect is paid by everyone within the ground here. Salford's difference this year, I know we've only played 10 games so far, they haven't scored on average any more points than they scored last year. That's exactly the same. They've just been able to concede about 9 or 10 points a game less. Their defence has been better, and it's certainly made the difference.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, Bill, and I will put some more importance on the travel time and the amount of rest time, the extra 48 hours. I think that is significant, probably this weekend, more than any other weekend in Super League. It will be very, very interesting to see how the Salford Red Devils will cope with the Catalan Dragons in this opening 10 or 15 minutes, particularly. The Catalan Dragons, they're well rested. That extra couple of days, it means a lot. It means an awful lot. But you take a small guess and a penny for the thoughts of the Reds as they get the game underway.
Phil Bentham is the referee then in Perpignan for this one. His video ref is James Childs, and the match is underway. Catalan Dragons against Salford Red Devils, rounding off our rugby league coverage here on Sky Sports over this Easter weekend. And Catalan looking to build on 2 away wins. They've had a wretched record at home, in actual fact. After their first home win since February the 11th. Salford out to deny them that. There might be just a little bit of anxiety in the Catalan ranks because they're so used to being the dominant force on their own pitch. And that hasn't been the case this season so far.
Well, they started well. Everyone remembers the impact that Greg Bird had for them. 2 wins and a draw from the first 4 games when Bird was in the side, but since he left the field at half-time at Leeds, they have looked a shadow of the side that we thought at the start of the year just might be a top 4 contender. Good kick there to begin the match, though. That's the control and the field position that Catalan want to begin with.
It's a great kick. It's a fantastic kick, and it's exactly where the Catalan Dragons would want to put the Red Devils in the opening exchange of this game. Make them work, and make them work hard to get out of their own area of the field.
Which is exactly what they're doing now. It's been a very lively build-up to this game. We've had the famous French rock singer Kali performing on the pitch. John's got every one of his records. Here's Flanagan on the break, and there's been a big Easter egg hunt on this pitch. Eggs all over the place on the pitch for hundreds of kids to find. Let's hope they've picked them all up.
Guijot picks up that first kick back again, but they're starting outside of the 20, and it's a more impressive start than we saw from Catalan. The game against Huddersfield wasn't a classic. They may have scored 5 tries, but they missed 12% of the tackles they went for. Came up with 16 errors when in possession as well, and they'll have to play better to be even competitive against Salford.
Gigot now back in the side after his what was supposed to be 2-year ban, ended up as 3 months for his altercation with the French drugs testing people.
Just to be clear on that, for people who don't know, he failed no test. There was no test failed. The ban he picked up, which does seem quite excessive, was for, I suppose, improper conduct or abuse towards the official. So no drugs test failed, and he will make a huge difference to this Catalan side.
He has already with tries in his last 2 games. O'Brien deals with that kick well and then gets clobbered by Luke Walsh on the follow-up.
It's a fine line between the best kick and a poor kick, really, isn't it? Now he's taking it, he gets the 20-metre restart. There's probably 20 centimetres in where that ball comes down, but they can see some ferocity and aggression. It's an impressive beginning here by the Catalan side in the centre. They've got to stop Justin Carney. There's only 2 or 3 players in the whole of the Super League who've made more ground than Carney this year. He's vital to them, not just at scoring tries, but helping the team to get out to their own half of the field.
Salford were the only team to have beaten Castleford this season. 13-12 it was when they met, but Saints have joined them as far as that honour goes with their victory over the leaders earlier on this afternoon. Salford aiming to join Castleford and Leeds at the top of the table. Here is Dobson, once a Catalan Dragon, but closed down by Luke Walsh.
Well done, Remy.
Tompkins. Little kick ahead into Gigot's territory, and the fullback brings it back and then bounces off 1 of 2. Tony Gigot, a man on a mission with a point to prove.
Yeah, both halfbacks, Dobson and Todd Carney more recently, as the Catalan Dragons nearly error. The referee's blown his whistle. Call is offside from Phil Bentham. So some territory given up. These calls and these decisions not to get onside, even at this early stage of the game, I think the significance is amplified because where we are in this Easter weekend period.
Salford looking for a club record 6 wins on a row. Catalan looking for a more modest 3 wins in a row, but after a dip in form which saw them lose 4 on the spin, 3 in a row would be good for their prospects, although they've dropped down to 8th in the table after the results, but they were outside the top 8 when they were going through that mini slump. Here's Sam Moa, gets to his feet to play the ball. Walsh. Gigot again avoiding the first challenge. He's a very evasive runner, the full-back. Louis Anderson now. Anderson plays the ball about 22 metres out, 12 metres out, I beg your pardon. Sam Moa it is now. Grits his teeth and takes on these Salford defenders. And paid the price, I think. Aiton short pass, the ball spilled, and Wellham will pick it up, but the referee has called them back.
Well, you know, Richard Myler is a unique scrum half. He's more of a line runner than any other player who wears the 7 or plays in the centre of the field, and he's invited by Paul Aiton to run far and fast for the hole just inside where Todd Carney stood. And you'll see him do it again with other forwards. He does it better than any other player and helped to be involved in one of the tries that helped to get them victory at Huddersfield the other day. But on that occasion, The pass is lost and Salford survive on their own line.
Couple of early indicators as well for the Catalan Dragons. What the Salford Red Devils intend to do. Junior Sau, you saw leaving the line to try and take out Tony Gigot. They don't want them playing around the Salford Red Devils. The Salford Red Devils do not want the Catalan Dragons playing around them. They'd be happy with a physical battle up front, up the ruck. That's maybe an early show of the Red Devils' hand. And they're prepared to risk shooting out the line to shut plays down, because this is a good team with ball in hand, is the Dragons.
It's a good run that initiated this breakout from the Salford Red Devils. It's Greg Johnson who got them underway. Here is Junior Sau now. He's missed only 2 of the games so far this season as the big centre. Logan Tompkins ships the ball on, and Salford reach the halfway line with it in the hands of Olsi Krasnicki.
Wait, Remy, go. 5.
And then Dobson drills a kick downfield, and it sits up for Gigot. And again, he'll run it back towards the Salford line.
Move! Go!
Walsh. Casti now, Remy Casti, such a loyal servant to this Catalan club.
He's been so consistent for them as well. I think that's what we forget about Remy Casti. Not just the amount of times he's represented.
The ball's come free there, John. Is a decision from the sideline, sorry. But was the ball stolen, or did he lose it in the tackle? The referees decided that Salford, I think, will have head and feet at this scrum. The Fuad Yaha is a powerful runner of the ball, but too often, perhaps, he's come up with a handling error. He gets himself in between 2 or 3 players here, and Adam Walsh, perhaps involved in the wrestle, ball comes free.
Ball comes free, aided, I think, with the benefit of the replay. Yeah, the statement about Casti stands, doesn't it? Particularly when you put it directly in line with the run that came after it from Fuad Yaha, perhaps doesn't understand what it takes to be consistently good and to excel consistently at this level. Not yet, anyway.
Salford's head and feet then just inside the Catalan half. A good platform then maybe for the Red Devils to build on here. About 40 metres out. And in the middle of the field.
2, move! Hold.
And Logan Tompkins weighing up the options with Dobson now. Dobson shifts it on. O'Brien can't take it, and Paul Ayton picks it up. Ayton gets the outrageous pass away to Garcia, and Catalan come forward, and Garcia is brought down eventually by another former Dragon, Todd Carney. First sighting of him in the Salford side. But here comes Thornley now. Thornley in a good run of form for his new club.
Well, impressive counter-attacking here from Catalan, but the Salford side have shown the defence is better than it was last year, and so far it's been good enough to hold them out on these 2 plays.
They bring it to Krishnan Inu's side, and Inu so hard to stop. Krishnan Inu is almost to the line, but they just managed to hold him up. Good work from Josh Jones and Junior Sau to deny Krishnan Inu another try. Here is Casti, bang! Takes on Adam Waln, and Waln feels the force of the Catalan captain. Paul Ayton now. Ayton, Myler over the top. Thornley gets the pass away to Walsh. Scrambling defence, and in the corner goes Vincent Dupont, or does he?
This is one for the video referee, Phil Bentham.
No, it's not.
Whoa,
it's not,
that is a brave decision. Surely that was one for the video ref.
Well, that's why the touch judges are there. Phil Bentham, he's had the discussion. He's obviously very happy with the instructions that have been given. Here's the mistake that led to the breakdown field. That's fatigue, that's nothing else. It's a mistimed pass, miscatch, and that's fatigue. And then in the blink of an eye, the Catalan Dragons, rather sensibly and rather conservatively, got themselves to the end of the field. Now then, let's have a look at this end to the try. Well, it's just sheer force of strength, and it's the correct decision.
Never a moment's doubt.
He is one of the most powerful players, though, Vincent Dupont there, playing left centre, number 18 for Catalan Dragons, and there wouldn't be many players in Super League who can stop him from that position, stretched across. Luke Walsh here looking to try and convert from the sideline. Very, very impressive start, because there are confidence to counter-attack when Ayton picks up the ball and offload it. I think shows that even though this side haven't played well so far, they've got some good performances in them.
On his 200th career appearance then, Vincent Dupont gets his third try of this season, and in our defence, John, I would say that looking at the French coverage and the angle of that, we never really were able to gauge just how close Vincent Dupont was to the touchline.
Or alternatively, I'll wind my neck in and not speak too soon next time. First blood, the Catalan Dragons. I thought they were extremely efficient in the way that they worked their way downfield. Garcia, I think, was particularly conservative on that free play, just to settle things down and give Catalan a real shot at the Salford line. And just in the build-up to that, one of the battles I've been waiting for all day was between Junior Sau and Christian Inu, and we got a little something there just to whet our appetite of perhaps what lies ahead.
Walsh has been in good form as far as the goal kicking goes this season. 90% success rate for him, and his success rate continues with that touchline conversion of the try from Vincent Dupont, and Salford punished for that error.
Well, it seems as though as soon as the sun starts to shine in the south of France, we see a different side, a powerful one and a clinical one that converts its chances into tries, which is precisely what Vincent Dupont does here. Good pass from Luke Walsh, and there's nothing that either the fullback or Logan Tompkins, the hooker, can do to stop him from scoring.
And touch judge right on the spot. And Vincent Dupont likes scoring tries against Salford. That's his 7th try in 6 home games he's played against the Salford Red Devils. And Salford having to not only cope with a quick turnaround and travelling. OK, they travelled yesterday and rested up overnight, but also they are experiencing the warmest weather so far this Super League season in Perpignan. Sam Moa's come out of that collision with some sort of injury.
There's a particularly heavy contact.
4 Salford defenders here end up involved in this tackle. The initial tackle, is it by Krasniki? He's the first point of contact. Number 16. That's the biggest impact there on him.
Yeah,
Logan Tompkins at the side.
It's just the force of the impact.
Does his head get into a difficult position? The back of the neck, maybe bent forward. Total an accident.
There's nothing untoward about the tackle. It's just some players who are really getting the shoulders in.
You see that position, his head's maybe pushed to the side.
Seems okay to carry on, clutching onto that ball, getting a squirt of the sticky spray.
A lot of people obviously back into the defenders to try and get to the floor and gain some ground, but in doing so there is that wrestle that takes place with the defenders. The referees decided to put it on report. It'll be looked at.
Seemed to be anything untoward in that challenge. It was just fighting fire with fire. Sam Moa was motoring towards them, and Salford got in the way. That's the way it seemed.
Hold, goal.
Phil Bentham deciding that maybe somebody should have a look at that in the cold light of day. Catalan leading by 6 points to 0 as Benjamin Garcia plays the ball, and Moa is keen for another challenge. Back in Super League after a 5-year absence, Sam Moa. Very successful return to Australia, won a grand final while he was there. Ricochets off O'Brien's chest. And the fullback returns it for the Red Devils.
That's a good shot from Paul Ayton to start the set.
Well, this is the play. This is the play you've got to try and stop here. Justin Kennedy doing some damage. He's giving it to Johnson for the first one. He'll invariably pick up here now and go himself. As I say, there's about 300 players in Super League. Only 3 have made more ground than him this year. He's a bull going forward.
You look at the tone that was set by Ayton's contact on O'Brien. I think they've done really well. You're right, Phil. Some of the best outside backs in returning the football. Here's Sau. Here's one of them.
Junior Sau tackled by Fuad Yaha, and the referee has awarded. Has he awarded a penalty? Josh Jones is down, I think.
Yeah, it's Josh Jones, and it's as he's got rid of the ball, he was hit and dumped to the floor.
Would that be Christian Inu, perhaps playing right centre? Picked him up.
Well, it's exactly the right thing, by the way. Referee calling time off. Anybody with a hint of a head injury, it's the right thing to do. Let's take the time. That's a dangerous tackle. That's a very dangerous tackle. He's unlucky. He's unlucky if he gets up from this for that not to be a more serious injury.
Simbin
in offensive. Well, I mean, you cannot, in good conscience, as a defender, go through a tackle and lift the legs up like that. It's irresponsible, I think, as a professional athlete in this day and age.
Okay.
Josh Jones is back on his feet, and some concern in the Salford camp there. Just
could be red. It could be red.
It's irresponsible. Irresponsible behaviour. And it's a duty of care there to your opponents. I know you play this game hard and you play this game tough.
We've had one incident on report in this game already. Now Christian Inu is going to be in trouble, and he's lucky that that's the extent at this point of disciplining against him. There might be further talk of that.
Yeah, he had a poor season last year for them. He just 2 tries in 9 games, and obviously then he got injured. But I think the last year of his contract he's played already. This is his 9th already. He's played in 3 NRL Grand Finals for 3 different clubs. I expect we'll see a better performance from him than that. He's now back involved in this tackle legitimately.
And Josh Jones is able to continue and recovered from that tackle. Lamatasi now in his 2nd spell at Salford. Had a brief visit to St Helens.
Oh, that's a great read. What a brilliant read in defence.
It was that man, Christian Inu, again, and that was legitimate, but Salford haven't finished. Here is Krasnicki now. He's trying to get an offload away, but Catalan managed to wrap him up. But have they just delayed the threat here? Here they come once more. It's with Wellham. Wellham is shunted towards the sidelines by a Catalan duo of Myler and Thornley. Crossfield kick. Another heavy collision. The ball's batted down. Walsh gathers it up.
In an offside position. It looked that way, didn't it? There's a first the injury to Sau and Inu. 2 big men in the air, full speed make contact.
Body strewn all over the place at the moment. Penalty awarded to the Catalan Dragons. Offside was it at the point of the kick? So just an example there, as we see this challenge repeated again. Is it perhaps maybe penalty for challenge in the air?
No, it's offside.
Is it offside at the kick, is it? Just, I think the first example and first real examination of this Catalan Dragons line, a mixture there with Christian Inu, you see on your back there, coming out of the line. They're educated gambles, those, and when they come off, so it's a real shot in the arm for your team and for the research that you do on the opposition.
This would be a blow for Salford, wouldn't it? Would be a serious blow here. Would perhaps he caught the knee into the hip or top of the thigh when Christian Inu jumped from the floor, just went straight onto it.
Came down awkwardly, didn't he?
It's been very good for Salford this year.
Does it look like an impact injury rather than a twist? Because sometimes they can be deceptive as well. They can be very hard to run off, very hard to loosen up again.
Able to jog back into the Salford defensive line in Catalan. Fortunate to come away from that particular skirmish with a penalty in their favour.
Yeah, I think not to undersell the work that they've done on their line. I thought they would look very comfortable. The subsequent couple of tackles in the set as well, I think they adjusted extremely well.
But if you go back to the Inu challenge on Josh Jones,
yeah, there's an argument that Christian Inu shouldn't have been in the defensive line at all. Yeah,
no. It's Castile looking over the Salford tacklers to see if he could get that ball away. It's round the back of Krasnicki's head, and he keeps a hold of it. Walsh, and his Horro now, his head strapped. Picked up a cut earlier on. Walsh, Myler. Here is Louis Anderson. Myler and Walsh. Little chip kick over the top from Walsh. Chases it himself. Oh, it's the crossbar challenge, and it's come up for Myler.
What a play. What a play. We say so often that Luke Walsh kicks the ball for Richard Myler running through the line. On this occasion, he's kicked for himself. It's a chip over the top, off the crossbar, like witness in the Cup semi-final back in the 80s. But Myler couldn't get over the line on this occasion. Bounces back. He can't believe the look, and not enough of his teammates. Look at the Salford. Enough black jerseys to save another try.
They get themselves in that position, and he found Gareth O'Brien, who he thought it was slightly out of position. He'd lost his position a little as fullback. Went for that, but you've got to go back to why were the Dragons in that position. The answer is because they're completely dominant around the ruck at the moment. Salford really struggling to stem and stop and stymie and frustrate this Catalan forward pack who are rolling upfield.
They've got Julien Bousquet to come off the bench and Mikel Simon as well.
Oh, some size there, isn't there, Bill?
So it's a hot evening in Perpignan and hard work for the Salford Red Devils, who are in this great run of form, travelled to France in confident mood.
That's significant as well from Tony Gigot. You see the effort that went into to get into that ball so it didn't go into touch, not giving this Red Devils pack a break. They know they've had less rest. They know they've had to travel. They won't have had an awful lot of time on the field. The Dragons, they'll be more rested of the two teams, so it's a good tactic. Keep that ball in play and make that fatigue count, make that 48 hours make a difference.
40-20 effort is that. And, oh, just the wrong side of the flag. The corner marker.
A talented player, Tony Gigot. He can run past tackle and he can kick the ball. He kicked a drop goal at Huddersfield last week. He's attempted to start that with a spectacular 40-20, but just too far.
Just touching the corner post. So that's tap 20.
Relief for Salford. Here's Mark Flanagan now, ever present this season. His defence has been one of the key factors for the Salford Red Devils in their efforts this season. He's their top tackler. Tompkins now. George Griffin off the bench. Ian Watson calling the changes. Dobson. Walsh completes the tackle. Salford, maybe a good opportunity for them here.
A missed opportunity. Logan Tompkins saw them asleep on the short side. Josh Jones missed the jump.
So Dobson drills a little kick in, and Gigot calmly watches that one find touch.
Well, I think there's another aspect of Salford's game that's improved this year. It's almost impossible to guess. But from what I see when I watch them, they seem physically fitter and stronger to compete for longer periods of matches. And they're happy to go in the grind here. I mean, they survive on the line at times, not just because they've perhaps got better organisation in defence, but I think they're physically able to get into those positions more often and save tries. And they're here happy in this long-term arm wrestle. 17.5 minutes of this game gone. They're comfortable to go end-to-end, toe-to-toe with the Dragons.
One informs the other, doesn't it? I mean, the physical fitness you can build on year, but if your defensive line is calmer, more composed, the communication is good, you're not being bent and pulled out of position, you're not expending energy you don't need to. So I would say that it's a circular thing. One informs the other, and it's a benefit all round.
Here's Louis Anderson, the adopted son of Catalan. He loves it in this part of the world. Goes shooting locally. Speaks a little bit of the Catalan language. Here is Remy Casti. Well, he is very local. Second to Gregory Muniz now as far as appearances for the Dragons goes.
Another head injury, and it's Logan Tompkins. He got that all wrong.
Well, I'm sure I saw him wearing a scrum cap the other day.
Well, he'll be very, very lucky to continue here. I'm absolutely certain he's taken heavy contact.
Very often that player would wear a scrum cap, though, Bill, because of a head cut. You know,
that wouldn't make a difference at all in that situation. It's Remy Casti again.
Talk of a head cut.
The bloke's like an iron bar. So awkward to tackle. He's got his head in. It's completely the wrong side. And there's been I think he's maybe collected Remy Casti's elbow. No foul play, bad technique, and he'll be going off for the mandatory head test. Again, one of the most sensible introductions into our game, Phil.
You know, there have been quality doctors and physios working in rugby league for a long time who've taken care of players, you know, and I just think
this takes the pressure off. It takes the pressure off everybody, this, doesn't it?
It does, of course.
Making this mandatory.
So that's a setback for the Salford Red Devils, with Logan Tompkins off the field having a concussion assessment. Here's Sam Moa. Looked as though at one point he might be heading that way after a heavy collision. And then Walsh makes time to get the kick in, straight down the middle of the field. O'Brien eventually sees it spin away from him, kick away from him, and cross the dead ball line.
Well, Gareth O'Brien, I think we're happy with that. He doesn't particularly want the physical contact of returning the ball from near his own line. He's the creative spark. Salford, more than most sides, pass the ball behind one option to another. They put it second man, and out wide. They hope that Gareth O'Brien can use his speed to enjoy the space. So they want to keep him fresh for the attacking players, which they'll hopefully build at the end of this set.
Yeah, hard yard kick returner he is not, but you'd trade that off, wouldn't you, for...
Oh, Robert Louis lost that. Sorry, John.
For what you get in attack.
Robert Louis just on the field. Spilled that ball.
It's the knee of Casti on the way in that's dislodged that.
Well, they are lucky. Robert Louis does play hooker at times, has done a bit for them this season, dropping in and out. So Logan Tompkins has gone off to be assessed, but his first touch isn't a positive one for Salford.
He was a doubt ahead of this game, Robert Louis. There was a chance that Josh Wood would play, but Robert Louis passed a fitness test earlier in the day. And head and feed after a Salford error to the Catalan Dragons, who lead by 6 points to 0. Salford will at least look at that and think, well, it's only 6. And they haven't actually had to deal with any other threats from the Catalan Dragons, but it's been a very tough opening quarter. It might be a draining opening quarter ultimately.
You'd expect nothing less, would you, coming down here to the south of France? It's always a physical battle as well as a mental challenge for your team. Oh, that's a poor error by Myler. The ball just slipping from his grasp as he shapes to pass.
What stopped the Dragons from getting the ball wide was the speed with which Salford moved up out wide. And that was a feature in their victory when they beat Castleford earlier this season, 13 points to 12. The Tigers couldn't get the ball wide because of how quickly Salford's defenders rushed forward and closed down the space. It seems to have worked for them again on that play.
Richie Myler celebrating the birth of his second child last week, him and his wife Helen. Congratulations to them. But slippery palms there. I think it is a warm evening in Perpignan. What a lovely prospect that would be. And Salford looking to benefit from that handling error. And here is O'Brien. Chris Wellham now enjoying a career renaissance, the 29-year-old centre.
All very pretty from Salford, but all very predictable as well. The Dragons' defence able to adjust to that one. Not playing out the line, that's better.
And Junior Sowers skipped away from the first challenge, almost got through the second, and the touch judge is on.
We'll see what this decision's for, but you see when Dobson goes to the line and makes a defender make a decision, that makes it.
Usually it's for a late challenge on the man who's passed the ball, isn't it?
Oh, well, it wouldn't surprise me to learn that it would be Dobson then that maybe got taken out because he took it right to the line.
Well, touch judge and Phil Bentham having a word. The referee looking for the culprits.
You watch this, it'll be on Dobson. It is
Luke Walsh.
Yeah, and it pulls defenders out of lines and it makes them do things they don't want to do. And that's the difference between the right to left spread we just saw and the preceding one that was so easily covered by the Dragons. Good chance Salford here.
Yeah, the penalty takes them 20 metres out as they start this set. Here is Craig Kopczak. Brought off the bench. Robert Louis now there, calling the shots. And George Griffin, good work from Griffin. Taking Salford closer to that line and looking to the referee for another penalty there as Catalan tried everything. O'Brien, high shot there. There's Chris Naninu, he's got to watch his P's and Q's. Here is Junior Sow looking to use his strength, and there's plenty of that. Moa comes in, whoa! Junior Sow will have felt that. Oh, gets to his feet, his ribs tingling. Robert Louis, O'Brien, they've got the opportunity here. And Salford squander the opportunity.
Well, Duport's a lucky man. He's a lucky man because he's ended up collecting that ball. He didn't stick on the tackle. If you decide to come in on your centre when there's a man over, you've got to stop the ball.
Supporters here pleading there was space out wide, but Catalan did what they needed to do. Tony Guizot delighted here that they've organised enough to counteract that play. Paul Ayton hasn't been as impressive in it here. He releases Anderson.
And Anderson releases Thornley. Back in field to Anderson. Anderson takes the tackle. Salford doing a good job to stem that Catalan attack. On that particular occasion, Myler hoists a high kick into the evening sunshine, and O'Brien takes it well.
That's a good take. He's had to read that ball all the way down, and he's made a mini break. He's off.
O'Brien is away. Ooh, and then he's stopped by Myler. And Myler, I think, will be penalised.
That's a shoulder charge. That's a shoulder charge. There's no effort there, Richie. You need to get your arms up. That's not a tackle if you don't attempt to get the arms round. It's just a shoulder charge.
He's not going for the ball strip. He loves that one-on-one ball strip. Richie Milo, hand over and below, one-on-one.
Well, then be prepared.
Frequently pulls that play off.
But then be prepared to give a penalty away for a shoulder charge if it doesn't come off, because that's what it looks like, doesn't it, for all money?
Didn't to me, but did to the ref, and that's all that counts.
So another penalty in favour of the Salford Red Devils, who trail by just that Vincent Dupont try converted by Luke Walsh. 24 minutes gone in Perpignan, so it's a good effort from the Red Devils. Bit of adversity.
Hold, Catalan, hold. Goal, 2.
In possession now with Robert Louis. Here's Craig Kopczak.
Gareth O'Brien, very often the indicator of where they're going to attack. They come arcing round, 2 or 3 passes wide.
One-handed pick up from Louis. Louis gets the pass away to George Griffin. About 12 metres out, Griffin. He'll play that ball, and Salford have the options. Dobson is one of them. Junior Sau closed down by Chris Naninu, but he gets away from him. Still going, Junior Sau. He's held up just short of the line.
He's injured again, is Junior.
He's in some pain.
I'll tell you what, we have a break in play here. There's an option for the Red Devils. If they can find that long ball over the top, you've got this Salford, this Catalan right edge, really jamming in.
Dobson puts a little grubber kick in, and across comes Gico and does ever so well to get out of trouble there.
That's poor. That's a poor follow-up on their opponents. Dobson sees that, or Carney sees that. There's a ball, if they've got the bravery to take it, right over the top to the winger.
Todd Carney having a quiet game so far against his former club. He made 30 appearances in 2 hit-and-miss seasons for the Catalan Dragons, did Carney. Didn't quite get what they hoped out of him. Salford hoping that they might.
There's another injury, and this might be a bad one.
Junior Sau again, I think, isn't it?
He is struggling.
Who goes up over the halfway line.
The referee will just call a halt since Inu is tackled. It's the turnover, in fact. There's no sympathy for Junior Sau.
Well, we said
Gleeson,
before the
I think,
game,
just pointing to the referee and drawing his attention to that.
Brian Carney pointed out before the game that Salford, with the win, could go joint top of the Super League, as we see Junior Sau just receiving some treatment there. Is it the right knee this occasion here? A twist in the tackle as his foot hits the ground. Involved in the surface, perhaps.
The test is the fist between the 2 legs. It's an adductor problem, isn't it? Maybe he's always strained a groin there. There he is. He's feeling the groin area. You watch as he goes in. Yeah, the legs come apart as the studs dig in. That's a really painful injury. He's been in the wars, hasn't he? He has. 25 minutes of this game.
You know what? If Salford do go joint top and win here tonight, it'll be a deserved victory, because for 25 minutes, Catalan are playing almost at their very best.
Well, they'll be doing it without Junior Sau by the looks of it.
That is very sad. He's missed only 2 games so far this year. He's been one of their best.
Well, take your pick. Dead leg, knee, groin, a bit of everything.
I don't want any, thanks.
And didn't get a concussion earlier.
But it was the turnover eventually when play will resume.
Let's go.
And Salford
When you're ready, go.
in possession, having seen off another Catalan attack and still only trailing by 6 points to 0.
Move. Hold.
But Junior Sau probably out for the rest of this game.
The indication, Bill, is it from you that Salford will be happy with this?
Go.
They're happy with the scoreline only being 6-0 down.
Well, it could be a lot worse.
And yet, but Salford are second in the table. This is...
3.
They've got the chance to go top here tonight.
Well,
Or
it's a long
joint
way of
top.
the game to go yet. And it's only 6-0.
Well, I think this is what they like as well. Robert Louis getting his hands on the ball, but maybe not behind the play of the ball. He's been possibly their most creative and dangerous attacker, as Dobson forced into a knock-on by Luke Walsh's pace again, attacking him. But what's the referee say? Offside. He's gone too quickly.
I just wonder how fit Robert Louis is, though, if he was a doubt going into this game.
Well, he's offside, called offside this time, Luke Walsh. I just wonder how many more times they're going to do that before the Red Devils make an adjustment and figure that out.
Surrender.
Ryan Lannon now, then an opportunity for Salford from that penalty to see if they can find a way through this Catalan defence. Craig Kopczak, he's in form, got a couple of tries in the win against Hull. Second try, double of his career. So he could be the man. Instead they go wide to Chris Wellham.
One marker. One marker. One marker.
Wellham is tackled by Louis Anderson. Here is Robert Louis now. Ryan Lannon once more.
Move.
And Catalan right on their own try line. Robert Louis. Dobson. O'Brien to Carney, and Carney runs out of room. Good defence in the end from the Catalan Dragons, and Justin Carney just could not adjust and make something of that.
It's good play, and well done Fuad Yaha. He's playing against a talented wingman against him, who's frequently gets over the try line, but not on that occasion. Some confidence boost for the young right winger for the French side here, Catalan Dragons. Justin Carney frustrated again on that play.
Fuad Yaha overcame a fairly significant injury of his own to take his place in the side.
Yeah.
You know, it just shows what they can do, the wonders of the physio and the technology available, as well as the mental strength for the players themselves.
Well, they've tried to go around them. They can't go through them. I think it's testimony to the effort that Catalan have put in here. They're going to get a penalty here for the scrum, which will certainly help them get away from their own line, and maybe even now trying to up the tempo. He's kicked that a long way, a 45-metre line restart here. If they up the tempo here now that they've got the ball.
Yeah, you're right. They're not hanging about, are they? They want to get stuck in, make the most of this momentum. Again, that's dangerous from Kopczak.
Mikel Simon reacting to Kopczak.
Well, I'm not surprised. You break someone's arm these days, doing something like that.
Simon didn't like that one from the Welsh international. Here's Walsh, holds on to the ball in the end and gets closed down. And here is Simon again, and he's danders up. He's held eventually and brought down. 4 tackles gone, half an hour gone, 6-0 the scoreline in favour of the Catalan Dragons as Walsh finds Myler, and Myler comes cutting back in. But Kopczak and Flanagan there to make the tackle for the Red Devils. Walsh, little step from him, gets it to Anderson, and Anderson dives for the line. Can he get it down? I think he might have done. The referee says, I'm not sure. I'm going to go to the video ref. Luke Walsh imploring him that it was a try. What does Phil Bentham reckon?
Well, it seemed to me that Luke Walsh was appealing for the fact that he'd lost the ball but lost it backwards before Walsh scored. Anderson, he's applauding himself. Does he think it's a try himself? He scored it. He rolls over. No, he's lost the ball backwards.
And the ball's...
Does Walsh score next?
Dobson's tackle over the top has helped this ball along. That's the ball back inside to Anderson. Anderson going for the line. Good first shot from Carney and Johnson.
Loses the ball backwards, doesn't it? Then there's a knock-on by Dobson and a grounding. Ooh!
Now,
it's not Luke Walsh.
If it's a simultaneous grounding...
Dupont for a second try.
If it's a simultaneous grounding, then a try will be given. The benefit goes to the attacking side. So Dupont will come in at the same time.
Well, the referee's awarded a try, hasn't he? Am I right in saying the referee awarded a try on the field? To me, there's no evidence to suggest this isn't a try.
So does Ryan Lannon get that hand to it first?
No,
that's
not
Dupont.
on that. No, it's Vincent Dupont. It's a try.
Second try of the game, is it, for Vincent Dupont? James Child has the decision in his hands.
Well, let's, for a little bit of fun then, Phil, you're going to try.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be awkward and say no try's going to overturn this.
Try.
Try for you.
So the man in the van has to make the decision.
Well, the French team get a video referee more often than every other side in Super League, and this time he says...
It is a try. Vincent Dupont, quick thinking from the centre, and gets his second of the game, somewhat fortuitously.
A bizarre try on the last tackle player. Luke Walsh ran it at first, then turned it back inside and said, listen, try your best to Louis Anderson, who lost the ball over the line, and luckily his teammate was the first to pounce on it. Powerful play. We've seen his strength to score the first one, but we're seeing how sharp he is to get on the second.
Well, that was a lucky break, and unfortunate for the Salford Red Devils, who thought they'd dealt with the challenge from Louis Anderson, but...
The one thing I will say about the Red Devils is you've seen no rhythm yet in their play. Everything's been stop-start. It's been punctuated by errors, particularly in possession. And that's in direct contrast to the team we're seeing here, the Catalan Dragons. They have found a rhythm very early on. They've got a game plan, they're sticking to it, and it's working for them.
Jérôme Guisset out on the field.
He was a tough player in his time as well.
Geeing these Catalan players up. And Vincent Dupont, 4 tries for the season now for him. And as I said, a great scoring record against Salford. That's now 7 in 6 against them. And Walsh has kicked 37 out of 41 so far this season. And there's another one to his name. And half-time approaching. Catalan extend their lead.
Well, I suppose it doesn't matter how you score them as long as you do. And they got over the line, they got the ball backwards, and he was first on it. An important try, wasn't it, there now? Vincent Dupont's happy with the decision. He's happy with the fact that his team were able to increase the tempo when they got possession, defending on the line for a while, and got to the other end of the field. But the one thing that I'm sure they've done the research, Salford, when I talk about their improved fitness, have been better in the last 10 minutes of both the first and the second halves they've played in this season. They've finished both of them strongly, and they've got enough energy here now to perhaps get a try before we get to the break.
They've come close, have Salford in this first half, and they know that this Catalan defence is not impregnable. Busquets almost lost that ball.
Just go back and play the ball.
The referee, I think, telling him to play it again.
Tackle 1. Okay, go.
And here's Mikel Simon. So they've got the two big guys off the bench, Simon and Busquets,
Hold, Salford, hold.
involved.
Play on, you ball square, play on.
Here's Louis Anderson once more.
Move. Go.
Paul Ayton. Thornley. Dupont, ironically, making his point, we mentioned the fact that Braden Williame is out of the side, and Dupont dropping into that centre role where he's very familiar, but he's making the most of his opportunity.
And Braden Williame has been a good signing for them. Really good recruit from the Manly club. He's made a bright start to his Dragons career, but he sits this one out as that ball finds touch. Justin Carney just checking with the referee.
Could he have made more of that?
Well, I think he thought it was too risky as it was bouncing close to the sideline, and then the risk of going to touch the ball if it bounced off him. Difficult spinning. I think at first he thought it was going to go out quicker than it did. And after scoring, I think Luke Walsh should be content with that to get to the other end of the field and get the ball about the 10-metre line.
That good game management.
Well, the Dragons are clearly on the front foot, and they've had the best of this first 30 minutes of the game. And they've also started to put some form together. Just looking at the last couple of results, they went to Huddersfield on Wednesday night and won, and that followed up as they conceded a penalty. Their victory at Leeds a week before. They're 12 points ahead, but they've just given Salford a lifeline as we head towards the half-time break.
Well, we are waiting to see if Todd Carney can have an impact in this game, hasn't he? He's made some tackles with Louis Anderson charging at him.
Surrender!
But what can he do now his team have the ball?
Stand.
Here is Josh Jones. Left thigh heavily strapped. Now Chris Wellham.
Move.
Wellham tackled. Gets a good play the ball. Here's Carney. Dobson, little dummy and step from Dobson, but read by Paul Ayton, who makes the tackle. Robert Louis now. Salford rolling forward with George Griffin now. Griffin is brought down. Fifth tackle. Dobson will try and put in an awkward kick to the corner. It is an awkward kick, and Fouad Yaha not convincingly gathers that one.
Oh, I didn't know whether to jump or stay on the ground in the end. Anyway, got the ball.
Two hands, Fouad. Last time you took it in, you made a mistake. You knocked on in possession. That's a lot better. Get the set started, rather,
Still,
for the Dragons.
He's only 20 years of age. He only broke into the side really last year.
And
he's got 10 tries in 17 appearances.
Yeah, and he's a natural athlete with a big future, but there are definite parts to his game that he can tidy up, and that's certainly one of them.
He's lucky there not to be penalty. There's got to be a penalty one way or the other. At first I thought Tony Guichot had walked off the mark, jumped up and went forward. I've seen a lot of players penalised for that recently, and Craig Kopchak can't remove himself from the ruck area. Penalty here now, and Richard Myler and his team will get excited. Not really seen him yet, Myler linking to any players. Anderson charges again at Carney.
Still going strong, Louis Anderson, 31 years of age. Almost had a try. That last Catalan attack. Here is Benjamin Garcia.
And this will be really costly for the Red Devils if they concede here. An awful lot of effort needs to go into keeping the Dragons out.
Here's Bousquet driving it towards those posts. Salford managing to stop his progress. Ayton ships the ball onto Walsh. Quick hands, and they can't gather it, and Salford will counter with Greg Johnson. And Johnson then brought back by the referee's whistle.
Well, it looks initially like it's a knock-on from the Catalan Dragons.
No, it's Chris Wellham who looks to have knocked the ball from Richie Myler. And this will be a repeat set. Another shot at this Red Devils line.
Good spot that, Phil.
They're asking for some oxygen here, the Salford team, and they need it, don't they, here now with 4 minutes to go.
That's a crucial time of the game. You concede here, the complexion of your half-time conversation, if you're Ian Watson, changes completely.
Lamatasi, number 14, said, one set, boys. We've got to hold out for one more set.
But Catalan head and fill for 10-metre line. They can really turn the pressure on, and Toro will try and do that, and it was a good job that Dobson clung on to him, and he clung on too long. And it's another penalty, battering for the Red Devils here.
You take the two.
Surely
an option
not.
for them. Right, puts them more than 2 scores clear. Yeah, that's what they've done. Sensible stuff. Slow the pace of the game down, get towards half-time, go more than 2 scores clear.
But you've got Salford really gasping for breath there. The heat is getting to them, and they're on their own try line. Surely you go for the jugular.
It's half a try, Bill. It's half a try. The way they've been playing.
It's a true.
Luke Walsh will surely kick this to extend the Catalan Dragons' lead. The
It's a
former
gimme.
St Helens man.
It's a gimme. 3 minutes on the clock. I'd be happy with that.
Another 2 metres, please.
Been a good recruit for the Catalan Dragons, because you can rely on him for goals in a game. And they've got other goal kickers as well. No shortage of those. Tony Gigot is no slouch in that respect.
Yeah, Gigot, Christenin, who's been a cracking goal kicker in his time, Richie Myler. That is it, though, isn't it? Oh, Thomas Bosk off the bench.
Oh, Thomas Bosk, of course, yeah.
Don't need it, though, when this guy's slotting them home like he does.
He does, look at that. Clear blue sky, and a bit of blue sky between these two sides now, with Catalan 14-0 up. And Luke Walsh profiting from that penalty conceded by Salford, who were under pressure.
Well, they seem, I think, at the moment to be, they have to be happy that they're only 14 points behind. They're still in this contest.
This is what I said.
I agree, Bill. And when you think about the widness side, if Catalan have a problem, it's at times they completely lose their concentration in a match. And at 14-0 is what they did in the game at home against the Widnes Vikings. It's possible again. It could happen in the second. Salford need to stay in the fight and recover in the break and see what they can throw them at them, because they've certainly got some points in the Salford side. They just need to hang on there.
It's a good point. They haven't been able to put games to bed. They lack that ruthless streak that you would associate with a Wigan Warriors, for example. A team that can certainly see out a game, defend their line, then go and apply a killer punch, as we saw earlier today. Maybe that's
in
the next,
Wakefield.
but maybe that's the next stage for the Catalan Dragons. The next development that they make is that they get into 14-0 and they shut a game out.
Well, here they go with Paul Ayton, who manages to get the pass away to Walsh. And Walsh on to Horo. Horo was thinking of flinging it towards Chris Naninu, but curbed his instincts. And then Walsh drills another kick in, and it's another good one. And O'Brien watches that one fine touch. Last minute of the first 40.
Great kick to the corner. He's happy. His teammates are happy to restart play with a corner 90 metres from their own try line.
It's not necessarily what the Catalan fans would want to see or are used to have been seen, but you've got to suck some of that up if you want to be a team challenging at the top of the table. Good game management by Luke Walsh.
But they were, as Phil said, 14-0 up against Widnes and had to settle for a 14-all draw. But that was on a filthy day when it was absolutely chucking it down. The temperature was probably about 20 degrees lower.
No, we've got to go.
And
too long.
It's a different prospect here in Perpignan with the sun shining. Just the sort of game that Catalan like, sort of conditions that Catalan like to play a game in.
Just before he played it.